Hey there, folks. Hope this finds y'all doing well. I'm just touching base here, and thought I would get involved in this thing here called the accent tag. It's a vlog or video recording thing that's been going on around the internet here for a few years. And basically, the deal is that folks are supposed to record a number of words and then answer a series of questions in order to help folks who might not be from around where from around where you are understand the way in which you pronounce words. And I'm sure it's fun and funny and entertaining for some people to see this. So a little bit of background about me and where I'm from. I'm from Virginia. I live in Richmond, Virginia now. Now I was raised in two different parts of the state primarily. When I was really young, I lived full-time in Dinwiddie County, Virginia. And then I moved from there to the Tidewater area of Virginia, Eastern Virginia, which and during that time I lived in two different counties. I lived in Southampton County first. Now, Southampton County is a county in Virginia which is north of Northampton County, which is in North Carolina. So Southampton County is north of Northampton County in North Carolina. I'll let you can figure that out on your own time. And then I moved from Southampton County, Virginia, over to Isle of Wight County, Virginia. And then after that, I moved back to Dinwiddie again. Couldn't stay away for but so long, so moved back to Dinwiddie again. And then I went to college in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, up around near Harrisonburg, Virginia. Went to school, a small liberal arts school called Bridgewater College, and I'm sure all three of those areas within the Commonwealth of Virginia have shaped my accent to one degree or another. The only place in Virginia I've not lived is in Northern Virginia, which we old-time proud Virginians referred to as occupied Virginia. So I had never lived in occupied Virginia, but I've lived in just about every other part of the state at some point in time or another. The exception perhaps of Southwest Virginia. Haven't lived down there. I'm doing this, because fairly often I'll have folks, they'll ask me fairly early on in a conversation, if I haven't met them before, they'll want to know and try to place where my accent is from, and so I'll tell them, I'm from Richmond. You call a technical support line, or you have somebody call you that you haven't talked to in person before, and they'll want to know a little bit of background about my accent. I did have a gentleman the other day. I actually was up in occupied Virginia. I was going to church up there, and a gentleman walked by and spoke, and he and I were chatting a little bit. And he said, where are you from? After we chatted for a little while, I told him I was from Richmond, and he said, well, you sound like you're from Richmond. So, guess I'm guilty as charged where that's concerned. But anyway, I guess I'll plow on into this. I'm 4 minutes into this video, and I haven't done anything fun or exciting yet, other than sit here and enjoy wasting your time and tell stories. So there's a number of words here that I'm supposed to read. Now, I have not read these words before. This is the first time I'm doing this. I have heard other folks read these, so I kind of know what's coming. But I've not practiced this. Aunt, route, root, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire milk, bag, water, shore, data, ruin, crayon, toilet, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, spitting image, Alabama, lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, syrup, pajamas, and caught. And then there's a few questions here which I think I'm supposed to Read and then answer. What's it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? And I had never heard of throwing toilet paper on a perfectly good house before, but um, I, although come to think of it, I did have a preacher at one point in time who used to be, he was a PE teacher before he became a preacher, and he had students one night came by and to pull a prank on him, they I guess they wrapped his house in toilet paper or something, and seems like to me he called that papering his house. Um, so anyway, I'll go with that. What's the name of the bug that when you touch it, it curls into a ball? Um, it seemed like to me, as I think about this, there's supposed to be two names for this, but a roly-poly is what seems to come to mind here at the moment. What is the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soda. It's normally what we call that. I know there's some people who will call them soft drinks, and there's some people who call them pop. But I was always taught that pop was something that you called your grandfather or maybe your dad. Um, it wasn't something that you called something that you were supposed to drink. So I'll go with soda on that. What do you call gym shoes? Tennis shoes normally is what I'd refer to shoes that you might would wear to the gym. What do you say to address a group of people? Actually, come to think of it, when I opened up this video, I said folks. So, we'll say folks, or we'll say, hey, y'all, something like that. Y'all or folks. What do you call a spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? Granddaddy Longleg would be what we'd call that. Now, I used to be in the Boy Scouts a while back, and went to this Boy Scout camp called Camp T. Brady Saunders, which is out in Goochland County, Virginia. Yes, we do have a county in Virginia called Goochland. Um, I have no idea why we named a county Goochland. Figure that out. There's something else to research, I guess. But yeah, over in Goochland County, Camp D. Brady Saunders, and in these tents that we'd sleep in when we'd go camping out there for scout camp during the summer. these tents were old Army surplus tents, and they didn't seal up all the way around. There'd be open areas, and they were up on pallets. And these Granddaddy Longlegs would come up into the tent, and you'd have tons of them in these tents. Another question, we call you grandparents. On my mother's side of the family, my grandmother I called Granny, and my grandfather I called Pop. Now, on my father's side of the family, my grandfather passed away before I was born. But in conversation, we talk about him. We refer to him as Granddaddy Craig, was so Granddaddy, and then my grandmother on my father's side called Grandma. What do you call a wheeled contraption in which you carry your groceries at the supermarket? A shopping cart. That's what we call that, a shopping cart. And what do you call it when the rain falls? Or what do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? A sun shower seems to be the thing that I probably would call that. And what's the thing that you change your TV channel with? A remote or a remote control. So that seems to wrap up the words and the questions. And hope you all are having wish you all a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it might be when you might be happening to be watching this. And I hope this has been fun and entertaining for you. And I've taken up enough of your time here. I see I'm right at 9.5 minutes. So y'all take care. Bye.